Hi Jasmine. Here's just a few tips to help speed up some of your searching. First of all, it appears that you have figured out how to read the headings here. I do have a video that I put out there recently that went through them in a bit of detail, about half of them. So I won't repeat that there. What I did want to show you was some of the stuff that's around the edges. So if we go down a ways, down here at the bottom, it lists the image numbers. Well, it sort of lines up, but not exactly. What we could figure out is that register is in 381, about the last 78 pages, 78 images. And so if we went up to 345 and subtracted 78, and subtract 80, that would be 365 or 265. So maybe 267 might be the first image for register. Here on the apple, I have to hit enter twice. And looks like I was right. It's got Zamblin 1881, and that was the last year. If I go forward, and sure enough, here was that other town. So by subtracting backwards like that, you can figure out possibly where a village begins. The page numbers won't line up exactly because if there was an inserted page, a letter written, a document, then you get double, or sometimes there were blanks and so they delete them out. Who knows? Okay, what I wanted to show you was how to get back to the list of books. If you click up here on the book name, pretty much repeats the same information that we saw down at the bottom of the page. But this one will give me the list. Now, this word here, pshed, think of it as pre, and rook is year. Before the year 1356, and we're going, okay, I don't need to worry about that. That's going to be a while. Some of this information here, see there's dates. I do not know what this is necessarily for. But down here, here are the books. This letter here is one that's frequently on the cover of the book, which is kind of cool. If you open it up and you see that it has an H on it, you know you have the right book. But look how far back it's possible to get. And so we were in book 24, weren't we? Notice that your Zamblin isn't even listed as one of the possibilities. That's something you need to take into consideration. If you've got register, the Clomac, then probably Zamblin is in that book too. The star stands for births, everybody's rising star. The two rings stand for marriage. The plus, the cross, stands for death. So we can see here that this birth book was the last one. So there are no birth records available online after that point. They would have to be researched in person by you or a researcher. Okay. That's how we got to look at those. On the Mac, if you hold down Command and click over here, you get it in a new tab. On the PC, you do right mouse button, put it in a new tab, then you keep your list of books up there. Let's compare that to the Trebon archive, where the record is that Zdenek found. One thing that's true about this one is if you copy the link, it's from down here. It's a very common mistake that's made. This link up here will only give you the first page if you post it. We see the equivalent though. I kind of like theirs a little better. They have folder tree. And it's the same type of thing. We have marriage, deaths, and births, only this time you have your language up here that you can select from. N is narodil or narození, which stands for births in Czech. O, odany, marriages. Z, zemřelí, deaths. So you will see N-O-D when you have it written in Czech. Oh, N-O-Z, I'm sorry. So here's one here, N-O-Z. Okay, well, there are other ways to go from the front end and drill down, but as long as you have a starting link, this is the easiest way to get to the record. Now, if you find that the book you want isn't on the list, then it does tell you where they are being stored. One last thing. Let's go back to Kasajovice, this index. Where were you? Oh, down here. Just for the fun of it. And that's book 22, okay. If we were to estimate out of 283 pages, about halfway through it'd be 140, and we might expect that 140 would be the L's. Pretty good. You kind of estimate the percentages after a while. Let me just save some time. The K's are on 127. Again, we have these cool slides here in Plzen Archive, Portafontium, that you can actually, if you get clicked in here somehow, just right. On a PC, you have the little arrow there. Oh, come on, come on. And then you can go through and you can actually guess where the letters begin and end instead of looking at so many of them. But if we go back here one, look what we find down here. Kotrba, Marie, Zamlin, 1872, 28, Unara. And then there's the page number. It was on 285. So if you go back and look at the book, you'll find that she's there. I would like to point out that look, we have another one right here. She's on image 287, whatever the numbering is. So you might want to go take a look at that one too. So that's all I have for you, just a quickie to help you get up to speed in looking for stuff. Remember that an index is not perfect. It might not have all the names, but it might be easier to read than the actual books. So when it does have the names, it points you to the right page. Bye-bye.